Chapter 3. Voices. It seemed that as soon as Moira stepped off the bus, the rain fell at a more rapid pace. She was going to walk home, but decided she would return to the school until the rain slowed down or stopped. Moira removed her umbrella from her backpack and opened it as soon as she stepped out into the inclement weather. She tilted her purple umbrella at a 90-degree angle so it would block her face and shield her hair from the cold, wet droplets that could collide against her skin. Moira dodged puddles and avoided falling as she slipped on oily and wet patches of pavement. Light rain was in the forecast, but she had not expected the vigorous wind and harsh rainfall. As Moira climbed the steps to her school, Andorra Christian Academy, a forceful gust of wind hurled her umbrella out of her hand. It skipped across the parking lot. Moira ran after it, but every time she got close enough to grab it, it moved a few feet away from her. By the time she caught it, her hair was wet and her foundation was running down her face. A frustrated Moira rushed toward the school door, pushed it open, and ran straight toward the girls' bathroom. She used her umbrella to shield her face from any of her potential peers. The water from her soaked white blouse and checkered purple and gray skirt dripped all over the freshly waxed school floors. Her water-laden loafers left puddles of water and remnants of mud tracks on the floor. Just as Moira was about to enter the bathroom, 3 11th grade girls by the name of Sarah, Emily, and Marissa came from out of the bathroom. Their skin tones mimicked the hues of peach, vanilla, and caramel. They exited the bathroom wearing matching cheerleading costumes. They appeared to be dressed as triplets, although they looked nothing alike. They pushed their long, beautiful locks of hair behind their ears as if they had spent hours rehearsing the simplistic and overdone motion. Moira watched as if the 3 girls scurried away from her as if she were plagued with some uncurable, contagious disease. She admired their busty chest, long straight hair, and light skin tones, but resented the freedom they had to experiment with their looks. As she entered the bathroom, she heard the girls snicker and whisper behind her back. She stayed out of view, but close enough to the door to hear what they said.
"Oh my, is that the new girl Moira everyone was talking about? She's hideous," replied Sarah. "Quit overreacting, Sarah. She's not hideous. She's just not cute. She has more of a boring look," Marissa replied. "So, you're saying she's a Bora Moira?" Sarah asked. All the girls broke out into incessant giggles. "Well, apparently her father's like some world-renowned psychiatrist and is loaded. He's like the best in the world," Emily replied. "Then why doesn't she use some of that wealth to change her look?" asked Sarah. "Who knows? But if my father had as much money as hers, I wouldn't be walking around looking like a dark-skinned olive oil. She'd be halfway decent looking with a relaxer, a new nose, and a push-up bra," commented Marissa. "The ones with money never know what to do with it," Emily replied. "Isn't that the truth?" agreed Sarah. The girls looked each other over. They hiked up their miniskirts a little higher, added lipstick to their collagen-injected lips, and continued down the hall with their school books in their hand. When Moira had no longer heard them speaking, she dropped her backpack and umbrella on the ground and went straight to the bathroom mirror. She fought back her urge to cry as she dried the specks of raindrops from her glasses with a piece of tissue from her peacoat pocket. She grabbed paper towels from the dispenser and removed some of the makeup that dribbled onto her blouse. Moira glanced at her disheveled reflection and banged her fist on the bathroom sink. Irritated, she opened her mouth and let out a bellowing yell that echoed throughout the bathroom. She yanked her backpack off the ground, took out her half-comb, half-brush, and her small makeup compact and violently combed her hair. The splashes of water splattered on the mirror with each stroke. "I hate my damn hair, and I hate the rain," she yelled. Moira took a section of her hair and ran the comb through it repeatedly. The harder she combed, the more pain she felt. It had returned to its tight curls, and the only way to revert to its original style was to straighten it again. "This is my father's fault. If he was on time, I wouldn't have had to walk in the rain, deal with Candace, and hear mean words from the most popular girls in school," she mumbled. Moira slammed the brush against the counter and stared at herself in the mirror. She pointed her finger at her reflection. And if you didn't have dark, blotchy skin and coarse hair, I wouldn't have to straighten my hair, lighten my skin, and wear makeup. I could be beautiful.
She snatched the brush from off the counter and struck the mirror with it. It cracked, and a medium-sized piece of glass near the bottom of the mirror fell and cut the palm of her hand before it shattered in the sink. Untamed wailings escaped her throat as she held her injured hand, and the tears she tried to hold from earlier flowed from her eyes. Drops of her precious red blood dripped into the sink. She grabbed a few paper towels and applied pressure to soak up the blood. After a few gentle presses, the bleeding stopped. She picked up the remaining pieces of glass, wrapped them in paper towels, and threw them in the trash. When she returned to the sink, she turned on the water and splashed warm water over the blood droplets. Once the sink was clean, she noticed a couple drops of blood on the floor. In a hurry to leave the bathroom, she bent over and wiped up the remaining blood. A raspy, childlike, unfamiliar whispering voice pierced through the serene silence of the bathroom.
Why do you speak unkind words to me, Mora?
The voice asked. Its echo ricocheted off the bathroom walls. Mora stood up and turned her head toward the bathroom door. She expected some student or school administrator to be standing in the doorway, but no one was there. Mora pushed her glasses up close to her face and did a 360-degree turn around the bathroom.
Who's calling my name?
She stuttered. There was no response. Mora's heartbeat increased. Her lips quivered and her breaths were sharp and swift. To calm herself, she closed her eyes and took a deep breath and placed her hand on her heart to monitor its rhythm. She crept toward the bathroom stalls and wondered who would orchestrate such a frightening scare on Halloween. One by one, she pushed open the stall doors. Icy shivers traveled down her arms as she heard the door creak. Once it was fully open, she looked inside, and no one was there. Unable to take any more suspense, she opened the remaining 2 doors, but they were also empty. She nervously swallowed a huge gulp of air, which resulted in a dry cough. The temperature in the bathroom dropped, which resulted in raised goosebumps on her arms. Mora picked up her backpack and jetted for the door. The light bulbs in the bathroom burst, and shards of glass fell like confetti from the ceiling. Mora tripped over her umbrella and fell to the ground and covered her head to shield herself from the raining glass.
Sticks and stones rarely break bones, but your unkind words will make me harm you,
the raspy, unidentified voice chanted. Once she heard the last glass piece fall, she hopped up off the floor. As she gazed directly in front of the cracked mirror, a sharp chill shot through her body. Her reflection was no longer staring back at her. It had been replaced by the apparition-like entity from her dream. Its eyes were no longer black. They were scarlet red. She had long crystal yellow nails, and her bangs fell just above her eyelids. Mora opened her mouth to scream, but no sound came forth. Her feet felt like they were cemented to the floor and wouldn't budge, no matter how hard she tried to move. The reflection girl stood there with the same bristly hair, purple spectacles, and dirty blouse that Mora was wearing. Next, Mora heard the click, clicking sound as it slowly and rigidly lifted both its hands from its side. It reached out its arms toward Mora and walked closer toward her. Mora wiggled her legs and they moved. She ran at lightning speed and snatched up her backpack from the floor that was in the door's pathway. She jetted down the lengthy dark hallway. Ear-piercing screams exploded from her lungs and echoed throughout the school. Her nightmares had manifested, and her fear was suffocating her. She could barely breathe, but she kept running. Strong footsteps chased behind her. At first, the steps sounded like a fast-paced walk. It then morphed into a light jog, and then transformed into a full-on sprint. Mora picked up her pace.
Come back! Come back!
An unfamiliar voice yelled. Mora did not turn around. Something within her broke, and she received her second wind. She threw her backpack on the ground and was now running like a track star. Her hands were like fan blades as they moved back and forth alongside her slim frame. Mora heard the footsteps draw nearer. Her heart was about to explode through her chest. The sound of her loafers clicked rapidly against the hard surface of the school floor. When the school front door was in view, a sense of relief washed over her. Her relief changed to chills when a strong, cold, and wet hand gripped its long fingers on her shoulder.